Thursday, April 15th, 2021, we discuss the Chris Marker classic short film from 1962, La Jetée, with your host, me, Joe LaRocca. This is the Daily Review. Okay, hey guys, what's up? This is one of the handful of classic short films. There's only a handful of them. There's this and The Red Balloon, and that's it. And Rejected by Don Hertzfeldt, but I'm the only one who thinks that's a classic. I made it look a little choppy, super black and white, high contrast, like the movie La Jetée, French film. What this movie is comprised of almost entirely still images, black and white still images. And it's about 26 minutes long, and it tells the story of a man hiding in the underground after World War III, and the entire upper portion of the planet, or at least Paris, has been utterly destroyed. Nothing. It's like the road, no birds even, no life at all. And this character is imprisoned and being tested on to see if they can find a way to send him back in time to potentially prevent the cataclysmic events that caused the atomic explosion, or whatever world-ending sort of events took place. Famously, Terry Gilliam took this idea and ran with it for the movie 12 Monkeys, which has a similar idea about a virus that gets out and destroys the whole planet, and humans in the future are sending people back to try and figure out exactly where it went wrong and see if they can stop it from happening. So it's a short film. It's a sci-fi short film, which is rare. It's incredibly evocative and emotional, and the imagery stays with you. And really, it's kind of the perfect example of the idea that every aspect of your film should feed the theme, should feed the thesis, should feed the whatever you think the message is that you're trying to say with the movie. Now, people might interpret it differently. That's fine. It's art. It's up for interpretation. But as an artist going into it, you at least need to have some idea of what you want to say, and it can change throughout the process. But that ultimately you're saying, this is what I'm saying about time. This is what I'm saying about the human race. Big themes like that come up, especially in science fiction movies. And what this movie does perfectly is, the reason they're using our protagonist is because he has an incredibly good photographic memory, and his memories are very sharp, and for whatever reason that makes him better at chemically time traveling or whatever's happening. So that all plays into the theme. It makes sense. The movie actually wouldn't make sense if it were filmed. If it weren't just still images, it would make less sense. You know what I mean? Because then the movie itself works on you in the same way that it worked on the protagonist. You get what I mean? So if you haven't seen this, you have no idea what I'm saying. I'm not understanding how amazingly profound and interesting the things I'm saying are. But here's the good thing. You can watch the entire film on YouTube in the link below. So after this, check it out. I'm not going to spoil it or anything. And I do highly recommend it. You got to stick with it, though, because it is only still images, and you might get a little bit bored. But I think that the payoff is ultimately important, and satisfying, and the movie as a whole is important because a lot of filmmakers, I believe, were influenced by it, in my opinion. And just the framing is so great. All the images are so great. I think maybe every filmmaker should have to make a movie that's just all pictures at some point, because it really makes you focus in on what's powerful about cinema. Now, the one aspect of this that I don't like that much, or that is kind of a cinema sin, is having voiceover, just kind of explaining everything. But, excuse me, it wouldn't work if it didn't have it, and it makes sense in the context of relaying the history of this event. But it does cheat just a tiny bit by having that voiceover, Because imagine an entirely photographic movie with still photographs but with no voiceover, and you had to piece it all together from that. I mean, I read about a movie, I've only seen a clip of it, called Year of the Nail, a Mexican film that's all still images, but I don't know much about it. There was voiceover in the clip I watched, or there was dialogue, I mean. So I don't know, I'll have to look into that. But this movie is really does a good job of using semiotic imagery. Well, that's imagery that just universally conveys an image. The most iconic ones that you see are like on the door of a bathroom, like men, women, you know, or even though those, you know, whatever. But those icons like denote, oh, that's a woman because of a triangle, you know, whatever. This has a lot of things where it's just representing madness and chaos and like sinister vibes, but just doing it with the framing and the glare and the high contrast. It's really interesting and really well edited. There's a really brilliant sequence where he gets good at going back in time and is able to latch on to this one image of a woman. And it's kind of like that's like his anchor point that he keeps going back to. And he goes back to one point in a museum. And the idea that they choose to go to a museum is so brilliant because of all the things we were talking about. Museum is where we collect memories and collect our histories and hopes that we will use them to better our future, which is what our character is trying to do. And then they kind of, in the same way, it's all these animals and skeletons and fossils all frozen in time, you know? It's so great. It just works. It's like a poem. It's so beautiful. And it even kind of has that interstellar thing that maybe love is a force of nature that supersedes time. That maybe that's what's happening with the science, is why he's able to attach himself to these memories, is that love is some sort of quantifiable scientific zone or element or something, like gravity, like it has a thing, not the movie Gravity. So I think all of that stuff gets presented, and everything serves the main story, from the lighting to the titles to the way they do sound. The sound and music is amazing too. There's a beautiful, sound design plus an orchestrated score. It's just great, just a great, clever, beautiful movie. And it usually divides the class. I think it did today. I didn't really take note fully, but usually there's like one or two kids who it like changes their life where they watch a movie and they're like, that's the best thing I've ever seen. And then there's usually like one or two kids who fall asleep. So it is kind of a polarizing movie, but I just wanted to, throw it out there. All you cinephiles probably know this movie. It's pretty entry level in terms of that. And if you ever take a film class, it's almost required viewing. But it had a really big impact on me today because it's one of those movies I've seen a bunch of times, and I was kind of like not really looking forward to watching it again today in class because, and then I started seeing new things. I went, oh no, just because I know where this is going, it doesn't matter. And even like the way they get to where they get to at the end is interesting to watch, and why we do this. That's what film class is. It's the movies that work. You watch them over and over and over again. You go, oh, that's how they did that magic trick. Oh, they did this kind of shot, then this kind of shot, and then they held a shot, and then they went bang, 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 and then you go, oh, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that move next time I make a movie, So very inspirational. I think it's very important for film students too, because it shows like the movie was made for like $1,000, and not even, probably it was, I don't know exactly, but it's certainly tons and tons of limitations are used to the advantage of the story. And I just think that using a snapshot in a movie about memory, using snapshots to tell the story, is brilliant. It's just brilliant. Form equals function, or form expresses meaning. Form expresses meaning. That's what I should say. That's the fancy thing you say when it comes to that. So yeah, watch the link below, and all you guys go out there and make a sci-fi movie with no dialogue. I dare you. I dare you. But yeah, you can see the tail end of this, like the influence this movie's had on a lot of people. So even if you're just generally into film, I think it's important to watch. So I'm going to do a little bit of music. I think I'm figuring some stuff out with running everything through running the OPZ through this, which has always been kind of one of the major goals of mine. We're not hearing anything, are we? Let's see. That's it. That's all I got for you. I also watched a movie called Tower Heist, and it was really, 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 really bad. And we'll maybe go into that later, but that's all I got for you today. Take it easy.